What's up, you filthy casuals? Today, I'm going to be running through a few decks that I think will be good for you new players and even for you older players. I did choose these decks based on the ease to build the actual deck and how quickly and easily it is to get them online. And also, Pocket is pretty simple, but I've tried to make these quite easy to use decks also, so you shouldn't find them much difficult if you're a beginner or you're someone who's struggling with the battle side of things. These decks play very simple. They're also going to give you the ability at the start of the game where it's very difficult to create several decks to manage to start yourself some wins. The more wins you get, the more levels you'll get, the more rewards you get, the more poker gold you get, the hourglasses. It all means good stuff. And these can be used online or offline. So let's get into this video and go through the decks. Now, deck number one is a really solid one. This is the deck that I started out with. You're basically going to get it if you're pulling on the Mewtwo packs. You're going to be gifted it straight away. It's going to be the Marowak and Sandslash deck. Now, this one can do a lot of damage. It does kind of just hinge on a coin flip to a little bit, but so there's a lot of things in this game. And also, Sandslash, you can get him up extremely quickly, and he does 70 damage with only 2 energy, which is pretty good. It's the same with the Boomerang for Marowak EX. Now, getting 2 of the EXs will be your hard part with this deck. You're going to get given one for free when you open the Mewtwo packs. Anyway, I've got 9 million Sandshows and Sandslashes. They're going to be absolutely fine to get. Now, the only questionable thing on this one for me is the Hitmonlee. Do you need him or not? You don't actually need him if you don't want to use him in the deck. You could use potions or something else. You could also use something like a Genghis Khan to sit up front while you're trying to build up the Cubone and Sandslash. But this deck is quite an aggro deck. It is going to be used for getting you into the fight as quickly as possible. When you're going up against those Mewtwo players and stuff like that, that's where the Giovanni is going to come in handful, because you're going to need him for at least one of your slashes with Sandslash in order to hit Mewtwo down in 2 hits. I genuinely think that this deck is solid. I used this a lot at the start. In fact, this and the Mewtwo decks were the only ones I could build at the start of the game, and this carried me through a lot of wins. I definitely recommend giving this one a try. Now, I've used every single deck I'm going to talk about, apart from the Pikachu one here today. And so, let's get this one out of the way. And I've been trying to pull for this little guy, and I am having zero luck. I have probably pulled about 20, 25 packs in the last few days, and I don't have a single Pikachu EX. Now, there are a couple of versions. There's 3 or 4 versions, really, of this deck that you can play. This one, in my head, would be one of the easiest ones. The key to this is how quickly you can get this online, and that's what makes Pikachu so difficult to play against, because Pikachu and Zapdos have no stages. They're just straight in and straight up for the fight. Although they're low in health, you're going to be able to do damage very quickly, and if you can stack your bench with electric Pokemon, Pikachu EX is going to do crazy amounts of damage. You plus that with the fact that even if you don't have your Pikachu or your Zapdos online, the Electro does 70 damage for just 2 energy. This is a low energy deck where you're going to see a lot of greatness come from it. Now, if you can, and you do have time to flip the coins for the Thunder and Hurricane, that could be extremely deadly. I'm going to be honest with you, Zapdos in this deck for me, I can take him or leave him. I'm not actually cared about pulling the Zapdos because I have a Magneton that can give you electric energy. So I'm probably going to use that instead. I don't see a Lieutenant Surge in this one either, so maybe that's something I'd look at. Now, there is a different variation here with the Raichu, and this is actually the deck that I would build. This one's just going to be harder to build because you're going to have to get yourself those 2 copies of the Raichu, as well as 2 copies of the Zapdos. Whereas this one's a little bit easier because Electrode and Voltorb seem to come out of packs more. At least that's from my experience. But I definitely feel like this is the version I would love to play. I would maybe just take out Zapdos for Magneton, but you have the Lieutenant Surge in this one. You could even maybe run 2 of them and get rid of the Pinchurkin. I think I'm saying that right, probably saying it wrong. But this would be the version I would aim for. But this is like the light version, and you can give or take Zapdos. The key thing here is having the Pikachu and the fact that you've got Electrode in there that can do a high amount of damage for very little cost. You have to remember he has like naff all HP. He's going to die very easily, but he's just in there to cause aggro early on. This is very much a deck I'm looking forward to use, especially the Raichu version. As soon as I have the cards for this, I'm going to be using this online and maybe even in competitive by the time I've managed to get the cards. Next up is another high aggro deck, and I've chosen one fire deck for this one, and this is the deck I've gone with. I've purely gone with this because I found this very easy to build in the early game. These are not going to be meta decks by any stretch of the imagination, although some of them are, and the Pikachu one and the others that you're going to see. but not all of them are going to be meta. This involves no EX cards. This is going to involve you being very aggressive early on, using your 2x speeds, getting yours in and out, and getting Rapidash online to do damage, but mainly you just got to get the Ninetales set up. I mean, the fact that Rapidash can do damage with only one energy of 40 is good, and he's got a chunky bit of health of 100, so there's not too many early attacks that are going to kill him. You can start chipping away at the early Pokemon, but the big one for this one is that 90 damage Flamethrower. You don't have health in this. You need to be causing damage early. When you mix that with having a Blaine in your hand, which is going to increase it by 30 damage, it is insane. 30 damage on that Ninetales is a huge chunk of damage. So obviously you're going to want to pair the Ninetales with the Blaine. But I've had a lot of fun. I've used this deck. I've had a lot of fun with it. Don't get me wrong. I've lost quite a few games with it, but I have won quite a lot, and you'll find that a lot of people just concede because you cause that much aggro early on. Like, I was using this deck earlier, and I came up against a Mewtwo player, and I find that to counter Mewtwo, you want a high aggro deck, and he had to put his Ralts in place. I killed his Ralts within the first 2 turns, and he quit. So you will see in this that you're going to get a lot of people just quitting because you're giving them high aggro early, and it's not giving them the time that they want to set themselves in place. Now you can improve this. You could chuck in the Growlithe. You could chuck in Charizard. I'm not a big Charizard fan at the minute. I'm not really a big fan of too many Stage 2 Pokemon, but you could chuck in a Growlithe, which is brilliant in this. The Growlithe EX, it's in the event right now, so you can go and do the event to allow you to enhance this deck. But this deck as it is, you can be successful, and you will be successful with this as long as you know how to play it. Be very aggressive, swap in and swap out, get that Ninetales online, and you'll do some serious damage. Next up is my all-time least favorite, but if you're a new player, it's going to do you a lot of damage. Now, I've got 2 variants of this one, and I managed to build this deck pretty quickly. All you're going to have to do is kind of pull on the Charizard line and on the Mewtwo line. I think you need the 2. I think the Articuno's from Mewtwo, and I think the Starmie EX is from Charizard. So it does make this a little bit harder to get, but I didn't find pulling those cards that difficult. If anything, I found pulling the Articuno a little bit more difficult. Now, there is one big downside to this and this video, is that now this Lapras EX, you're not going to be able to get. But trading is coming. I have lots of them. If anyone wants to trade at any point for them, I am more than happy to do that and help people build some of these starting decks that are good in the game. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, when I look at this one, it's a bit give or take for me. I don't care about hand scope in this game that much, if I'm being honest with you. Red card, I'm not that keen on either, but this is a very solidly built deck. I think I've swapped red card out and hand scope. I think I've gone with Psyduck because he can cause headache, which is a real niggling point for the opposition while you're getting other cards online. And I think I've actually added in Giovanni, I think, or Sabrina. I think I've added in Sabrina. Sabrina or Giovanni are 2 very good trainer cards. We have 2 variants of this, though. Because you can't get the Lapras, we do have this variant as well, which is just the Articuno one, but getting 2 Articunos will be more difficult. It would be a lot easier for you to have the Lapras in. As you can see in this variant, you have the Sabrina and the Giovanni. Basically, you either want 2 Articuno or 2 Lapras, the Starmie and the Staryu, and then just train it. And that is it. And I'll be honest with you, this all hinges on Rayleigh, the coin flip of Misty. You can win this game in turn 1 if you get a Misty and get the right coin flip. If you manage to get your Articuno down on turn 1, you pop Misty, you get free water energy, blizzard, boom, game over. That's happened to me a few times when coming up against this deck, and it infuriates the goddamn life out of me. It's a coin flip of a deck, but it works, and you will get some very good consistent wins. And also, this deck is pretty good even if you just whiff on the Misty. You can do some good early damage. It's only 2 energy for the 40 Ice Swing, but it's only 2 energy for a 90 Hydro Smash, which is up to 100 if you use the Giovanni. So really early aggressiveness with the Starmie if you can get that out. And Articuno can tank a few more hits. Your problem is if you don't get this online quickly, you don't get good luck with a Misty, and you're coming up against Mewtwo, you're dead, because Mewtwo kills anything on this list and you're using EX Pokemon and they go down for 2 points. Now, speaking of Mewtwo, it's time for my favorite deck. My favorite deck in this game by far involves my favorite Pokemon in this game. It's the most used deck in tournaments, and it is also very, very simple and easy to get going at the start of this game. It's extremely easy to use as well. So instead of me just showing you the deck like this, I'm going to show you the deck in game. Now, this is how I have my deck built, being a Mewtwo player. I have the 2 Rolts, I have the 2 Gorillas, and the 2 Gardevoirs. They are key and important to this. I ended up pulling these 2 super sick Mewtwo's. I have the gold Mewtwo as well, and I use Meowth in this just to help me draw cards. That's my whole plan. I have the X speed, I have 2 Pokeballs, 2 potions, Professor's Research, times 2 Giovanni's, and 2 Sabrinas. Since it's my favorite deck, let's get into it. Let's do a game to end this one. We normally open a pack, but I've opened my daily packs, and I'm currently saving for the next set, so I'm only opening daily packs this current moment in time. But let's kind of just show off or showcase a little bit of what your thought process is going to be if you're using the Mewtwo deck. I might do other showcases as time goes on, especially with some of these other decks and kind of what you should be thinking. We instantly hear we have a pretty good start. They're running Psychic as well. I am tempted to put Meowth up front, but I think they're going to play Mewtwo also, which means it's going to take them time to get going. So I'm actually going to shove Mewtwo up front and try and get him online as quickly as possible instead of spending that energy on Meowth. That's exactly what's happened. They've got a Rolls up there. So they're without their Mewtwo is the way I'm taking this at this stage. And really what I find happening a lot in these games against other Psychic players or potentially Mewtwo players is it's basically who can get their Mewtwo online the quickest. And I already have the advantage because I have mine out and already have 1 energy on. So he's going to find himself in a position now where, I mean, I imagine he's going to pull Mewtwo next time around. But if he doesn't pull Mewtwo, what I can do here is stick on another energy, use my Giovanni and kill him. There we go. So that was the right move to get the Kriller out, because I would have just killed him that turn. But he needs to get his Mewtwo on the board or whatever other Psychics he's going to be using, or else he's going to be in trouble here in the early stages. Now, I don't want to use the Giovanni because it doesn't get me a kill. It's going to take me 2 to kill here. So I'm just going to attack it. That's all I'm going to do at this point. I can't Sabrina. There's nobody on the bench. If he'd had another routes on the bench, it wouldn't have mattered Sabrina in, because then we wouldn't have been able to use our Giovanni. So we have an advantage because we're going to have our Mewtwo at 150 pretty soon. Now, he's got his Gardevoir up, but still, I mean, this is reckless. I can kill next turn. I've got Giovanni. He's got to retreat. He's got to retreat it. And then I'll kill the Rolts instead, which will then force him to put the Gardevoir back in. I feel like we could be seeing a concede. But this is it. It's just get that Mewtwo up, get him online as quickly as possible. And I find it really insane that he doesn't have his Mewtwo right now. That's crazy to me. So he's going to do 6 damage, but he's going to lose. He might not know I've got Giovanni, but he's going to lose one of the key pieces in order for him to even win. So let's play this. Let's play this. We could chuck on this potion, and then we're going to Giovanni, because he's definitely thinking I can't be killed here. That has to be his thought process. It's the only way I can make it make sense. There we go. Got about out. He might quit on this because all he's got in at this stage is his Rolls. And it's not looking pretty for him right now. We've taken him down. But I don't understand why or what deck he's using, because you'd surely have a Mewtwo out at this point. If he puts a Mewtwo down now, we know what he's using, but I can kill anything. I'm 1 Psychic Energy away from 150, and it's going to be night-night for anything at this stage. So he does finally get his Mewtwo in, but he's in trouble. Okay, so he's going to make me Sabrina. That was clever. That was really clever. Okay. That was a smart move. Because I was just going to Sabrina his Mewtwo in and kill. I still have the advantage. He still needs to do something quick. But unless I got my X speed, can I get it now? If I get the X speed, he's dead. Pokeball. Oh, that's so frustrating. We'll use the Pokeball. Let's get... I think it'll be the other Mewtwo to come out. Or will it be the other rolls? That'll be the other Mewtwo. So, I mean, I feel like regardless now, he's in a pretty rough spot. I kind of want... I probably would have wanted his Mewtwo in. Yeah, I'm going to retreat. And I'm going to get my Mewtwo back in. And we'll use the potion. So we're in pretty good health. Next turn, he might have another Sabrina. Next turn in my head, I can Sabrina and kill. But I need him not to Sabrina here. Because if I kill the Mewtwo, that's 2 points. And that's what I want to do. I mean, if he just puts the Mewtwo in here, that would be nice for me. But I feel like he's got to Sabrina. He's got to Sabrina. Or else he's dead. Yeah, there we go. He Sabrina's again. But I'm not going to be silly. I'm just going to roll. He's doing this now purely to get his Mewtwo online. He doesn't have enough time, though. He doesn't have enough time to get his Mewtwo online. And he's going to have to have an X speed. Now I've got the Gardevoir. He's done basically here at this point. There's no coming back. Now, I'm going to put the Psychic here. I'm going to retreat into Mewtwo. And he goes night-night next turn. Because we've got a Sabrina. And he does not... He can't last. Do we force him in? Yeah, let's do it. Let's force him to bring the Mewtwo in. We don't even need the Sabrina. See, this is it. You'll have so many brain farts when you're playing this game and you're thinking, oh, do I need that? But no, that was it. He brings Mewtwo in. We've got it. He's lost both his Gardevoir opportunities now as well, which is so key to this deck. He's going to red card me, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't change anything. Because I can do 100... I mean, we get a Sabrina again. But I could do 140 this turn. He can only do 50. Fair play to this guy for sticking in. My fellow Mewtwo player. I appreciate you. But that made no difference. Yeah, he concedes. We would have won. We'd have got the 150 on the next turn. He did really well at stalling there, though. I will say that. I was impressed. But that is going to be it for 5 beginner decks for you. I'm glad I could just show off a little bit of how my thought process is with Mewtwo. I use it the most. I would have loved to have done it for every deck, but then this video would have taken forever. I might highlight some of these decks later down the line. I'm super excited for the new set coming. Eyes peeled. There's going to be some fun deck capabilities when that happens. If you guys want any kind of other tips and tricks videos, let me know which ones you'd want in the comments. As ever, please smash subscribe for this new channel. We are going to be bringing out lots of Pokemon Pocket content, at least 1, maybe 2 videos a week at this current moment in time. Thank you very much for the support and all the love, and I will see you for the next video. Hopefully your pack luck will be good.